Contraception. So in this video, mainly we will focus on contraception. But before going into the details of it, we would know the types of contraception. They include the temporary and the permanent methods. The temporary methods of contraception include barrier method, natural method, oral pills, injectables, implants, and intrauterine contraceptive devices. Barrier methods are all these: condoms, diaphragm, vaginal caps, and so on. Natural methods. Well, this entire video is mainly focusing on the natural methods. Let's see them later. Oral contraceptive pills. Well, these pills can be mini pills, that is progesterone-only pills, or estrogen and progesterone combined pills, or estrogen pills. Injectables. Well, the same hormones can be available in an injectable form. Implants. Hormones can be given as implants as well. Intrauterine contraceptive devices. There are various generations of IUCDs, such as there can be first generation, there can be second generation, there can be third generation as well. Copper T is the famous name we need to know under IUCD. Moving on to the permanent methods of sterilization. Permanent methods are always surgical, so they are two in number. They are tubectomy and vasectomy. So in vasectomy, the vas deferens is cut and ligated, whereas in tubectomy, the fallopian tubes are cut and ligated. Pearl index. Well, before moving on to the details of the pearl index, make sure you click that like button. And also don't forget to subscribe. Pearl index is called pearl, not because it's a memory pearl, it's because it was given by the scientist called Raymond Pearl. Formula for the pearl index goes in this way. It is defined as the number of contraceptive failures per 100 women years of exposure. Well, pearl index is equal to total number of accidental pregnancies divided by total months of exposure into 100. So it basically gives us the failure rate for a particular contraception and the formation of unwanted pregnancies. Well, moving on to the topic ditto, that is natural methods. In natural methods, there are a lot of things we need to focus on. First is the basic knowledge about the fertile period. Well, what is the fertile period? Well, that term mainly denotes a woman. A fertile period is given by this 1 to 30 days of a cycle of a woman. So 1 to 5 days she'll have this red color, that's menstruation. Well, let's add 2 more days, so make it 1 to 7 days she is going to be menstruating. Basically, when she is going to menstruate, she will not be fertile. Well, she will ovulate at approximately 14th day if she has a 28-day cycle, and whenever there's a cycle of duration anything, the last day of the cycle will be subtracted from 14. So 14 is the number. So 14 indicates the second phase of the menstrual cycle, that is a luteal phase. Well, luteal phase will always be fixed at 14 days. It can never be more than that. Well, that is the fertile period. So just at the time of ovulation, she will be more fertile. Well, the rest of the time she wouldn't be fertile. So say she ovulates in the 14th day, add 5 in the front, add 5 in the back, so it becomes like approximately 8 to 18 days or 19 days. She's going to be fertile in that time, right? The rest are infertile days, and she can have sex during those days. So that was about the fertile period. Well, moving on to the rhythm method. Rhythm method indicates the duration where the female is fertile. So 7 to 21 days she will be fertile. The rest of the days she will be infertile. It is not a hard and fast rule, but it could be reliable to some extent. Basal body temperature. So in the basal body temperature, just before the ovulation, there's going to be a fall in the temperature of say 0.2 Fahrenheit. Whereas just after it, there's going to be a rise in the temperature of zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.8 Fahrenheit, or a rise of zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.4 Celsius. So that was the basal body temperature method. Cervical mucus method, also known as the Billings ovulation method. Well, here we classify days as wet days and dry days. Wet days indicate the woman is fertile, and dry days indicate she is infertile. Well, the fluid we are talking about here is the cervical mucus. So it indicates a lot of phases. Dry phase indicates she is not fertile and she can have sex. And days 1 to 3 after a period is a dry phase. So sticky phase is followed by that. She is again not fertile during the sticky phase when the cervical mucus is pretty thick, and if it's creamy, she is semi-fertile. But then when the cervical mucus is able to stretch like a raw egg, stretches a lot. It is so much stretchable because it's too clear. It's called the fertile period. So that's the fertile period. So just don't have things during that period. Moving on to the symptothermal method. Symptothermal method, it's considered as an all-rounder because it will include the data collected from both the above methods, say for instance the cervical mucus method and also the BBT, the basal body temperature method. So that was the symptothermal method. In symptothermal method, we will be able to be reliable to more than any extent under natural method setting. Okay, so the main advantage of this symptothermal method is it is pretty precise and is pretty reliable as well. Well, there is another method called the withdrawal method. Well, in withdrawal method, what happens is just before ejaculation, we are planning to remove the penis right from the vagina. So doing that, we will be able to prevent the sperms from entering the female genital tract. So this technique is also known as a coitus interruptus. Well, the name explains itself, right? Coitus interruptus. So we interrupt the coitus. So when we do that, the sperms will not be able to enter into it, but it has a very bad disadvantage. Let's review them later. Lactation and amenorrhea. Well, this is a natural contraceptive method because once the mother has delivered a kid, she would be not menstruating, meaning not ovulating, for some time, say in an average of 6 months. So it's basically because of the prolactin the mother has. The prolactin is going to be inhibiting the luteinizing hormone or the LH, and also it's going to inhibit the ovarian response to the other hormones. So lactational amenorrhea is quite a good contraceptive method, but it requires practice. Okay, first of all, the criteria for the lactational amenorrhea is that once in 2 hours you need to feed the child all 24 hours. All right, so you can't sleep. Even in the night, you have to feed the child once in 2 hours. And second, you shouldn't have any bleeding because, if the bleeding occurs, there means most probably ovulation has occurred and you have become fertile again. So there's high chance of failure of lactational amenorrhea then. Okay, let's move on to the disadvantages. So, the disadvantages of the rhythm method is that we can't have sex for a lot of time, right? Literally half the month we wouldn't be able to have it. So, it's really sad. Second is the basal body temperature method. Well, I consider personally this as lame because it is factual. I mean, it's theoretical. It is not feasible practically. And while used alone, basal body temperature method was not going to be reliable. And also, we will not be able to apply this for irregular menstrual cycle because we wouldn't be able to, calculate with precision when the ovulation has occurred. Well, the Billings method is pretty good as far as I know. It's kinda okay only, but in Billings method, it's just okay. Nothing. Billings method is fine. Symptothermal method, it is the best method, but it itself has a lot of contraindications. All right, we'll get into that a bit later. Well, symptothermal method cannot be used in irregular menstrual cycle, just like the rhythm method. And second, we are not supposed to use it when the person is on other forms of medication like oral contraceptive pills because that is going to, it will regularize, but it's just a contraindication. Third is old age. So, yeah. Withdrawal method, yeah, this is the very main disadvantage I was talking about. It's kind of very bad, right? Because we want satisfaction, and that is why generally people have sex. But then now, during the withdrawal method, there is a lack of satisfaction. So, what's the point in having it? Lactational amenorrhea, as I already told, it requires a lot of dedication because once in 2 hours, even without sleeping, if you're ready to feed your child, then you're there to go. Otherwise, nope. You are fertile, don't have it. Well, if you like my videos, don't forget to click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell and stay in the cool era. Please watch my other videos as well. They are quite informative. Give it a thumbs up because it makes me motivated. Thank you.